시청자 여러분
Good
안녕하십니까?
afternoon, ladies and
국기원장
gentlemen.
선거
Welcome
후보자
to the
정책
Kukkiwon
토론
Presidential
프로그램을
Election Candidates
참여자
Policy
진행
Debate.
중입니다.
I am Kwon Chu, your
이번
moderator for
토론회는
today's
오는
session.
2025년
This debate
5월
has been
15일
organized to
실시되는
review the policies and
국기원장
qualifications
선거에
of the
출마할
candidates running for the
정치권
Kukkiwon
사지를
presidential election,
살펴보는
which will be held on
오늘
September
토론회를
19th,
통해서
2025.
국기원의 미래를
We hope that
선택하시는데
today's
많은
discussion
도움이
will help you
되셨으면
make an
바랍니다.
informed choice about the future of
국기원
Taekwondo
원장
and
선거
Kukkiwon.
관리 규정 제3조의
This debate
근거에
conducted in
기초한
accordance with
후보자
Article
정책
3 of the
토론회는
Kukkiwon Presidential
국기원
Election
선거
Management
관리
Regulations
위원회가
is
지시하는
hosted by the
국기원
Kukkiwon Election
유튜브
Management
채널에서
Committee,
생중계하고
broadcast
추후
live
국기원
on Kukkiwon
홈페이지에서도
YouTube channel
실시될
and
예정입니다.
will later be
그럼
available to
오늘
watch
토론회에
on the
참석한
Kukkiwon
후보자를
website.
기호
Now let me
순서대로
introduce today's
소개하겠습니다.
candidates. Please note that the
먼저
seating
기호
arrangement,
1번
speaking order, and
안윤구
questions
후보자입니다.
for all candidates were determined in advance. First, candidate number 1, An Young-ju.
반갑습니다.
Hello.
다음은 기호 2번 윤웅석 후보자입니다.
Candidate number 2, Yoon Eung-seok. Hello everyone, my name is Yoon Eung-seok.
다음은 기호 3번
Next,
남승현 후보자입니다.
candidate number 3, Nam Seung-hyun.
기호 3번 남승현입니다.
Hello everyone, my name is Nam Seung-hyun, candidate number 3.
이렇게 세 분의 후보자를 모시고 오늘
It's a pleasure to meet all of you. Let me now explain the format of today's Kukkiwon Presidential Election Candidates Policy Debate.
먼저 시작 발언으로
First, we'll have the opening statements. Each candidate will be given 1 minute and 30 seconds for their opening statement. Next, during the moderator's questions for all candidates segment, the moderator will ask 6 questions on different topics, and each candidate will have 1 minute to respond to each topic. This will be followed by candidates' pledge presentation and individual Q&A segment. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to present their policy pledges. After listening, the opposing candidates will have up to 50 seconds to ask a question, followed by 1 minute for the candidate to respond. After that, the candidate-led debate segment will be followed. Each candidate will have up to 9 minutes to take the initiative, ask questions to the opposing candidate, and receive responses without a fixed topic. In particular, every candidate must ask at least one question to each opponent, and the response time for each question must be guaranteed for at least 40 seconds. Finally, in the closing segment, each candidate will have 1 minute and 30 seconds to speak, after which we will conclude today's debate. If a candidate exceeds the allotted time, the microphone will be automatically turned off, so please ensure that you finish your remarks within the given time. And we would also like to inform you that the candidate's seating, speaking order, and moderator's common question were determined in advance. Finally, as this election is a very important occasion that will determine the future of Kukkiwon, many members of the Taekwondo community are watching with great interest. We ask that the candidates present their pledges and policies sincerely while refraining from defaming or spreading false information about their opponents. Now, let us officially begin today's policy debate. First, opening statement. Each candidate will have 1 minute and 30 seconds. First, candidate number 3, Nam Seung-hyun, please give your opening statement.
태권도 가족 여러분.
Family of Taekwondo, I am Nam Seung-hyun. I first started as the candidate member of the demonstration team, and up to the leader, I've been with the Kukkiwon for more than 30 years. Throughout a long journey, I've realized the direction of Kukkiwon. So with hundreds of leaderships and demonstration team, there are clear differences. For Kukkiwon, I realized that it's a distinctive group among the world. Taekwondo is indeed excellent. Still, in every country, there are many people who are contributing to Taekwondo and for the industry of Taekwondo. And I think that is the spirit of Taekwondo here. But are you really happy and satisfied with the current Kukkiwon? It has been 55 years since the establishment. And right now, is this the Kukkiwon that we really want? There are outdated system, untransparent policies, and also some leaderships going corrupt. And still, many people are questioning about the existence of Kukkiwon. And that's why I'm here to answer to those questions. Kukkiwon should center once again around Dojong, and Taekwondo should be once again be great again. Thank you very much.
Next,
기호 1번
candidate number 1, An Yong-gyu, please give your opening statement.
기호 1번 안용규입니다.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm candidate number 1,
저는
An Yong-gyu.
어린 시절 태권도를 시작해서
I started playing taekwondo since I was young, and until now, I've been living as a faithful member of taekwondo. And until today,
감사하며 살았습니다.
I've always been thankful to taekwondo industry.
태권도가 곧 우리나라의 표상이
I strongly believe that taekwondo is the symbol of South Korea and is also the pride to the international community.
초등학교 시절부터
Since when I was elementary school student, I started playing taekwondo.
태권도까지 그리고
And until
해병 대표
when I became the university student and when I went to the military, and also when I was the professor at Yongin University and also as the professor at the Korean National University of Sports, and until I became the president of a college, I've always been thinking about taekwondo.
따라서 연구 논문은 약
And also, I have around 201 research papers, and also I have around 20 publications.
국기원에 관련된 여러 가지 상황을 공부하면서
As I was studying the various things about Kukkiwon, I was really astonished about many things centering around taekwondo. Moving forward for Kukkiwon, I would like to sacrifice and dedicate myself for the group. Thank you very much.
네, 다음은 기호 2번
Finally,
윤웅석
candidate number 2, Yoon Eung-seok, please give your opening statement. Distinguished members of Taekwondo community, for the last 45 years, I stayed in the Dojang and I was in the field. There were many concerns of the players and instructors, and I watched it closely. And I made my effort to improve that. Instead of walk the walk, talk the talk, I would like to walk the walk. So I would like to create, as a first member of the Taekwondo Dojang Improvement Committee, I also served my role, and I was responsible for the administrative affairs of the Dojang. And I also improved the innovation of Taekwondo education as chair of Kukkiwon Training Center. And in the future, I would like to open a new chapter in Kukkiwon. I will support in the field, and I will also improve the transparency in Kukkiwon, and I will also improve the status of Kukkiwon. But I cannot do this alone. We need to do this together. Then Kukkiwon can leap forward. I would like to work with you to create brighter future of Kukkiwon. And Taekwondo is the power to change the future, and solidarity is the source. Thank you very much.
후보자의 시작 발언 잘 들었습니다.
We listened to the candidates' opening statements, and now we would like to proceed to the next segment. This segment is the moderator's common questions, in which all candidates will respond to the moderator's question in the designated order. Each candidate will have 1 minute to answer each question. Let us begin the first question. Question number 1. Concerns have been raised that in Korea, the quality of talent promotion test is declining, while overseas, there are issues such as the low distribution of Kukkiwon Tan certificates and the problem of certificates being issued independently by other organizations. How will you improve the promotion test quality and the authority of Kukkiwon Tan certificates? First, candidate number 1, An, please answer.
Once again, please repeat your questions.
국기원 심사의 질적 개선 그리고 단체
How will you improve the promotion test quality and the authority of Kukkiwon Tan certificates?
현재
Yes, thank you.
단 심사는
So right now, the test promotion system of Dan and Pum is currently deliberated. So for now, we have to reform the promotion test system for each municipalities and also delegate this work to each city and town. And also, along with the support system, I believe that we have to utilize the budgets.
심사 비용 근거를 규정에 명시해서
And we also need to clearly mention about the baseline of the evaluation system and the promotion test system within our articles and regulations.
심사의 공정성과
And also for the fairness and rationality of this promotion system, we have to build support.
운영 방법 등
And also regarding the methods of the evaluations and promotions, we're going to limit to Dan 1 to Dan 5.
공지함으로써 심사에
And also by notifying them in advance, I will try to raise the fairness.
현상을 줄여서
And also I'm going to minimize the group issuance of the certificates.
Candidate, you exceeded the allotted time, so the microphone has been turned off automatically. Once again, please keep the time. And we'll move on to candidate number 2, Yoon Ung-seok. Please give your answer within 1 minute.
심사 제도는
The current promotion test system is controversial. It requires a TAG 8 장, and there is a self-defense subject, so it is not realistic. So I would like to simplify the promotion test, and I will also review the PUM test, and we will also review the test subject 1 week before the test. And Kukkiwon is the center of the global taekwondo, and we need to set the guideline for the promotion test, and we need to have in-depth discussion about this. I will listen to the field, and we will expand the overseas exchange so that we can improve the quality and the quantity of TAN.
네, 감사합니다.
Thank you very much.
그러면 다음은 기호 3번.
Next, we'll move on to candidate number 3, Nam Seung-hyun. Please give your answer within 1 minute.
국내 심사의 질적 저하를 위해
Now, to improve the quality of the evaluation system, I'm going to provide a customized system. So from 1 to 8, I'm going to examine how we can reform the promotion system. And also, by abolishing the traditional system, I'm going to make a strong reform.
능력에 맞는 기본
So that can be applicable to the times of now. I'm going to exactly reform the promotion system and come up with an accurate criteria.
국기원 단지의
In other countries, I believe that we have to reform the promotion system and also to raise the status of Korea's Kukkiwon system. And also for the application of the promotion test system, we have to apply them to in every corner of the overseas country. And by utilizing the digital technologies and by cooperating with the companies, I will bring every support.
그렇습니다. 그럼 두 번째
Thank you
질문
very much.
드리겠습니다.
Let us move on to the question number 2. Kukkiwon is a special corporation operated under the Act of the Promotion of Taekwondo and Creation of Taekwondo Park, and is also classified as an organization related to public service. At the same time, it presents itself as the World Taekwondo Headquarters and an international organization. What is your stance on Kukkiwon's identity? And if elected as president, in which direction will you lead the organization? First, candidate number 2, Yoon Ung-seok, please give your answer within 1 minute. Kukkiwon is a special corporation, and it is also an international organization. So it is the headquarters for the global taekwondo. And sometimes this different identity has created complexity and confusion. In the short term, we need to improve the publicity and transparency, and we also need to operate the organization in a rational manner. And internationally, as the headquarters of the global taekwondo, we need to focus on the research, and we need to set the criteria for the study. And we also need to reestablish the cooperation with other countries, including the US. And in this situation, we need to make Kukkiwon as a reliable organization. As a candidate with global experience, I would like to improve the identity of Kukkiwon. Next, we would like to move on to candidate number 3, Nam Seung-hyun.
저 개인의 생각은
Personally, I believe that we have to restructure this special corporation. But however, until now, Kukkiwon has lost its trust, and that's why we are here today. So I believe that we have to rebuild our foundation.
공청회를 통해
So through public hearings,
의견을 수렴하고
we have to fix various things in every corner of our Kukkiwon. And after listening to the opinions of our Taekwondo family, we have to build corrections to our group. And thereby, we have to restructure our current Kukkiwon system. And as a corporation system, we need transparent operation and also strengthen our accountability so that we can raise the credibility of Taekwondo industry. And internationally, as an international organization, we have to raise our accountability as well. And we have to build cooperation and coexistence with all the Taekwondo family members across the world.
다음은 기호 1번
Thank you very much. Next, candidate number 1, An Young-gyu. You also have 1 minute.
국기원은 정부 지원을 받는 민간
Kukkiwon is a special private organization that receives the support from the government, so it has an ambiguous legal status. So in that sense, I believe that some people are misunderstanding that certificate is issued by the government, and some people raise the concerns of Olympics, national athletes of Taekwondo. So I believe that Kukkiwon should be the private corporation that will certify these qualification, and also as the function of workshops giving training and also evaluation of the promotion test, the Kukkiwon should be strengthening these functions. More innovative support and also expanding the Taekwondo members and also penetrating into every corners of the Taekwondo industry. I will try to operate transparently. And also by providing customized programs to dojangs. And also I'm going to hold the annual meetings of the Taekwondo leaders and listening to the voices on the field. With that being said, the value of Taekwondo will be raised internationally, and as the headquarters, we'll be able to strengthen our
이제 세 번째
values.
질문 들어가겠습니다.
Thank you. And now, question number 3. Kukkiwon has been building a global taekwondo network through the membership system, overseas support, branch offices, and representative offices. However, difficulties have been rising in establishing relationships in countries such as the United States and China. What solutions would you propose to these challenges, and what policies do you think are needed to elevate Kukkiwon's global presence and leadership? First, we'll go to candidate number 3, Nam Seung-hyun.
여러분, 이 도표 한번 보시겠습니까?
Now, please look at this pamphlet here. In 2025, as of now, this shows the current status of the headquarters in overseas.
50여 년에 걸쳐 만들어 놓은
So for the past 50 years, we have building international networks, and we have created the 60% of the networks for the past, and which is really remarkable. However, could we all manage and operate them? Instead of administration, I think we need a responsible members and organizations. And also to carry out the policies, we have to be closely monitoring the management. So yes, we need dojangs that can faithfully carry out their missions. So moving forward, by cooperating with the TPF, I'm going to build a governance that is step by step and well structured. And after strategically reviewing the current system, I'm going to expand the system and operation.
다음은
Thank you
기호
very
1번.
much. And next, we'll move to candidate number 1, An.
국기원 해외 조직 기반은 미국과
The baseline of the international branches of Kukkiwon is China and the United States. So the United States have been distributing based on sabams, and these leaders have been distributing the taekwondo industry, and that's what Kukkiwon have been doing so far. So as much as possible, Kukkiwon is going to provide support to the leaders and the coaches of the taekwondo, and by expanding the values and on top of these organizational fundamentals, we are going to expand the Kukkiwon's businesses and raise our international status. Before COVID-19, there were around 100,000 dojangs across China, but now it has become to 30,000. However, this is a new opportunity for us. So centering around the dojangs in China and in line with the changing global order, we'll be able to provide support to the dojangs, and I'm going to expand those supports to the dojangs in Chinese overseas branches. With that being said, we'll be able to strengthen the fundamentals of the dojangs in China and also secure leadership.
다음은 기호
Thank you
2번,
very much. Next, candidate number 2, Yoon Eung-seok. Please give your answer within 1 minute.
국기원의 글로벌 네트워크는
The global network of Kukkiwon
난관을 겪고
is still experiencing difficulties in the United States and China, and in some countries, the TAN certificate is distributed independently. So I will create a window so that
하게 대응하고
we can respond quickly to the problem, and Kukkiwon will also reform its membership system in connection with the programs and education so that the program will be more practical. Overseas offices and representative offices will be reviewed from the beginning, and I will also improve the efficiency. The brand of Kukkiwon is not just for the Dan certificate. We need to spread the culture as well. We need to enhance our Taekwondo leadership. So I will create a practical international network. Thank you very much for the answer. Now, let me move on to question number 4. To maximize organizational capabilities, a rational HR policy and efficient organizational management are essential. It has been pointed out that Kukkiwon also needs to reform its HR and organizational culture in response to the changing environment. What specific measures do you propose to innovate HR and org culture? First, candidate number 1, An Yong-gyu, please give your answer.
지원의 목적 사업인 교육
Now, the major goal is the research and the training of the taekwondos, and I will try to reflect the voices of the leaders and the taekwondo members. So by setting up the short-term and long-term goal, I'm going to promote them. So currently, we have to focus on accomplishment-based goal settings. And providing support to the Kukkiwon should be based on the performance of each members, and also by adopting a new salary system, we'll be able to raise the expertise. And not only that, I'm going to provide a welfare to the employees, and also based on their performance and ability, I am going to allocate the HR duties to each employees, raising the work efficiency. In the end, also to raise the expertise of the overseas employees, for the 5 departments in other countries, by expanding the organizations and employees, we'll be able to build cooperation with the overseas branches and strengthen the partnerships. In that sense, we'll be able to raise the status of the Kukkiwon.
Thank you very much. Next, candidate number 2, Yoon Eung-seok, please give your answer.
국기원의 인사와 조직 문화
The HR and organizational status of Kukkiwon is very rigid, according to many people. In particular, internal communication is lacking. I believe we need to listen to these voices.
인사 제도를 투명하고
I would like to improve the transparency of Kukkiwon HR system. First, we need to invite external experts in the HR systems so that we can enhance the transparency of the promotion system and ensure accountability. And we also will have a regular meeting to communicate with members of Kukkiwon so that they can take the pride from Kukkiwon and they can also extend their capability. Thank you very much for the answer. And next, candidate number 3, Nam Seung-hyun, please give your answer.
국기원의 인사와 조직 문화의
And also to raise our national status and the HR system are the assignments that Kukkiwon face. And as you all know, we have to closely watch how we can efficiently allocate the employees in HR. So I'm going to review the current problems of Kukkiwon's HR system and have robust reform of our HR system. And in line with the work of Kukkiwon, I am going to raise the expertise of Kukkiwon, centering around dojangs and especially centering around major education centers. I'm going to change the Kukkiwon structure into a performance-based structure. And lastly, through communication, I'm going to reform the HR policy. So the leaders of the dojangs and also listening to the internal voices, those should be reflected to the Kukkiwon policy. And every time, every day, I'm going to build communication channel.
Thank you very much for the answer. And now, question number 5. Concerns have been raised regarding the overlapping projects, insufficient cooperation, and conflicts among major Taekwondo-related organizations such as Kukkiwon, the Taekwondo Association, World Taekwondo, and Taekwondo Promotion Foundation. What measures would you implement to enhance cooperation among these organizations, and what direction should Kukkiwon pursue moving forward? First, candidate number 2, Yoon Eung-seok, please give your answer within 1 minute. Some people say that Kukkiwon and other related organizations have overlapping areas and they are not cooperating together, but I don't agree. Each organization served their role and there are many achievements. However, the efforts was one-time efforts, and it was not systematically made it. So in the future, we would like to make systematic efforts in cooperation. Kukkiwon should serve the central role to consult each other, and we need to discuss with the other organizations to enhance the efficiency and save the cost. The role of Kukkiwon is very clear. We need to maximize the benefits of organization, and we need to serve as a central role. And then we can create one team taekwondo. Next, candidate number 3, Nam Seung-hyun, please give your answer.
우리는 경쟁 단체가 아니라
We're not a competition group, we are a cooperation group. So we are the affiliate of IOC, and we have different characteristics as other sports industry bodies, and rather we are a support organization. And I think our assignment is also evaluating and also training the taekwondo members. Therefore, we have to build cooperation. By respecting the each role of the each departments and bodies, we have to still build a permanent cooperation structure. So by gathering the leaders of Taekwondo, we are going to build partnerships to carry out our task. And as the central hub of the Taekwondo dojangs, and we are going to be the adjusting bodies, and by that we are going to raise the global competitiveness of Taekwondo industry.
들었습니다. 다음은
Thank you very much. Next, candidate number 1, An Yong-gyu, please give your answer.
현재 태권도 관련 기관은
Right now, Taekwondo relevant bodies are based on executive members, and we have been currently building cooperation, but in terms of practicality, there are clear limits. Now, I believe that each leader of each group should come together, and I'm going to build a consultative body along with the working level consultative body. And by that, we'll be able to discuss about directions and goals moving forward. I'm going to respect the purpose and the role of each department, but I'm going to minimize the repetitive budgets. And however, we are going to still build the partnerships for our common goals. For example, not only the events during the day of Taekwondo, but I'm going to expand this event to the festivals where every member of the Taekwondo around the world can come together. And also by developing the major content for the Taekwondo, I'm going to distribute this to the leaders of Taekwondo across the world and become the central hub of Kukkiwon.
잘 들었습니다.
Thank you very much.
사회자 공통 질문 마지막.
Now, this is the last question number 6. The word Taekwondo Academy at Kukkiwon makes various efforts to train Taekwondo instructors. Yet, there are many opinions that mandatory training for instructors must be improved in terms of practicality and applicability. In what direction would you improve the curriculum?
먼저 기호
First, candidate number 3, Nam Seung-hyun, please give your answer in 1 minute.
Creative and conversion leaders should lead the new programs. Next, and I think the basic of the training of these leaders is they should be able to feel the changes and also bring in new lessons. Thereby, we'll be able to bring insights to the leaders in each dojang and each department. And also, with that, I'm going to reform the programs of the Pum and dance, and also other sub-programs should be reformed as well.
소위 과거
In other words, so for the past years,
자신만 빼고 다 바꾼다는 신념으로
many employees of Taekwondo industry was actually busy with their own duties, but they have been ignorant of the other things. So in order for them to spend their precious time well, I'm going to reform this current structure.
다음은 기호
Thank you very much. Next, candidate number 1, An Yong-gyu, please give your answer in 1 minute.
지도자 양성과 교육은
Nurturing the leaders of Kukkiwon and also this training system should be innovated. First, through thorough program, we're going to raise the capability of the leaders, and also we're going to provide a customized training session program to each dojang. Furthermore, through adopting credit system, I'm going to provide an additional points to the promotion evaluation test system for the leaders. And also, with the executive members and by establishing a new international leadership program, I'm going to raise the capability of the international expertise of the leaders. All the training and lessons should be integrated, and along with all the leaders, average people should also have the opportunity to experience the Taekwondo, and I'm going to come up with relevant curriculum and programs. And this will be expanded to International Leadership Academy, and this which will be similar to IOC Academy.
잘 들었습니다.
Thank you very much. Next, candidate number 2, Yoon Eung-seok, please give your answer in 1 minute. The World Taekwondo Academy at Kukkiwon will standardize and distribute the skills of Taekwondo, and in the future, I will strengthen its role. First, education will be centering around the practices so that instructors can use the skills they learned at their dojo. And online courses and weekend courses will be expanded. And according to the change of the time, we will expand the curriculum. And third, we will set the criteria for the instructor to enhance the capability of the instructors. This academy is not just educational organization. It is for the standardization of the Taekwondo skills and distribution. So I will make this academy as a center for distribution of the skills. Thank you very much for the answer. And we listened to the opinions of the candidates for all the common questions. And this concludes the moderator's question. And next, we'll proceed to the candidates' pledge presentations and individual Q&A segment in order to examine the candidates' policies. In this segment, each candidate will first present their pledges, followed by questions from other candidates and answers from the presenting candidate. First, candidate number 2, Yoon Eung-seok, you have 2 minutes. Distinguished members of Taekwondo community, I'm ready, and I'm Yoon Eung-seok. The innovation I prepared can be classified into 6 parts. First, we will provide support to Dojang, and we will operate the task force and enhance the capability. And for the disability people and silver people, we will provide the curriculum. And second, we will create the real one team at Kukkiwon. We will enhance the communication and the overlapping workload of academy will be improved through a smart administrative system. And third, smart education system. We will reform the manuals and guidelines, and online and weekend courses will be expanded. Fourth, World Taekwondo Hanmadang will be also changed. Participatory programs will be created, and we will also operate the standing committee to enhance the Hanmadang festival. And fifth, we'll open the door for the growth. We'll adjust the TAN promotion system by removing the self-defense course. And we'll also create new courses so that it can be the lifelong learning program. And sixth, Taekwondo strategy. I will create a window for the communication, and overseas offices will be also reformed so that we can enhance the status of Kukkiwon. We cannot stop. So I have the experience in other countries and at the field and administrative offices. I have many experiences, so with this experience, I would like to open up the new chapter in Kukkiwon with you. Thank you very much for your presentation, and now we'll take the questions.
질문은 50초 이내.
You can spend 50 seconds for questions, and you can also spend 1 minute for the answer. First, candidate number 3, Nam Seung-hyun, you can ask questions.
잘 들었습니다.
Yes, thank you for your presentation. You mentioned about the problem of integrations, and then what is your method for the future integration? And also, regarding that, would there be any methods to integrate to even to the deepest level? I would like to listen to your idea.
For now, at the Kukkiwon Training Center, already we have the program for the disabled people. However, it is not fully utilized, even though we have the manuals. And as for the multicultural family, we are emphasizing multicultural now.
세계가 한 인류라고 생각.
And I believe we are living in the global community. And this policy for the multicultural family should be integrated.
생각해야 됩니다.
So we need to think that they are our people.
말은 만들어 놨지만
Even though we are emphasizing multicultural family, we have not been practically providing the support, so I believe benefits should be provided.
안용규 후보자님.
Now we'll move on to candidate number 1, An Yong-kyu.
공약상 잘 들었습니다.
So thank you for your presentation. So candidate Yoon Ong-seok mentioned about supporting dojangs and also building task force for supporting dojangs. Now, yes, I believe that establishing TF is crucial. Then here, what would be your concrete plans for facilitating the supporting dojangs?
Well, I expected this question. As for the Dojang supporting task force, until now, the
이 말은 참 입에
former presidents
맞는데요.
have been always emphasizing this.
정부 지금 현재 이명박 아니 이재명
For now, the Lee Jae-myung administration
지원 사업이
already allocated 300 trillion Korean won for the supporting programs. And I believe we can be benefited from this program.
대한민국의
Moreover,
산재되어 있는 17개
across the country, there are 17 committees and associations, so I believe we can work with them. Thank you very much.
다음에는 기호 3번.
Now we'll move on to candidate number 3, Nam Seung-yeon.
국기원 혁신 5대 비전을
I'm going to talk about the 5 visions for innovating Kukkiwon. First is establishing a dedicated center for dojangs. And by reviewing, and also I'm going to build a helper system where I can support the dojangs. I'm going to notify the dojangs about the municipalities' programs, and also I'm going to help with the documentations. And also, secondly, the promotion system should be well laid out. So from 1 to 8, that would be too expensive. So from Dan 1 to Dan 5, I'm going to minimize and reduce this Dan promotion system. And also, the trainees should learn the practical movements of taekwondos and are going to coordinate the current evaluation system. And also, I'm going to transform to the electronic certificate system so that people can easily access via smartphone. And third is establishing a new business team. By acquiring budgets from the country and also receiving the sponsorship from the companies, I'm going to expand the budgets. Fourth is giving education to the instructors and also supporting the overseas branches. And we have to provide expertise and capability education to the instructors and the overseas branches. And also by supporting the reform of the overseas branches, I'm going to reach the goal. And fifth is raising the status of Taekwondo. And I'm going to create a special photo zone which will display the history and the spirit of Taekwondo. And this will be beneficial for the Taekwondo industry as a whole. Under these 5 visions, once again, the Kukkiwon will get closer to instructors and each dojangs. Thank you.
네, 공약 발표 잘 들었습니다.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Now, regarding the presentation, we will have the Q&A session. You can spend 50 seconds for a question, and the candidate also answer in 1 minute. First, Mr. An.
남승현 후보님께 질문.
Yes, my question goes to Nam Seung-yeon. So you mentioned about the philosophies and sharing the values of Taekwondo with the minors. Then what do you think is the philosophy of Taekwondo for the minors? And secondly,
만다는 후보자의 말씀 100%
yes, I agree with your statement on supporting the dojangs. However, dojangs should also be supported with budgets, realistically speaking. As of 2023, now can you tell me about the budgets and the business expenses of the Kukkiwon? And also you mentioned about making characters and also providing supports. This actually costs like around more than 10 billion Korean won. How are you going to lay out this plan? Now you may asked about the philosophy of the value of taekwondo for the minors. Well, that's simple. That would be instructor's value. That is depending on the instructor. There is a tendency from the minors to follow the footstep of the instructor. So I think the identity of the instructor is crucial. And when you mentioned about the budget, I think budget is also crucial here. And I think the most important here is that in the beginning, budget should not be allocated too much. And if we can minimize or reduce the budgets in other sectors, then we will be able to secure more budgets later on. And also, we also need to make money outside of Kukkiwon. And I believe that expanding the groups and also the promotion test examiners is crucial. So through various opportunities and also going to overseas countries by communicating with them, I'm going to expand the trainings and also the promotion tests. Thank you.
그럼 계속해서 기호
Moving on, candidate number 2, Yoon Eung-seok, please ask your questions. When it comes to the Dojang support, you would like to create a new organization and create promotional materials to support Dojang. However, the biggest difficulties experienced by these dojangs are not the promotion. They are experiencing business difficulties due to the reducing number of trainees. So, do you think these promotional materials will be beneficial for them? And do you have any plan to support them in a practical manner? As for the dojang support, we can visit them. For example, the demonstrative team can have a tour across the nation, but they also can do communication with the dojang. And now other candidates are talking about budgets. I'm not saying that we need to spend a lot of money from the beginning, but we can start small. As I mentioned before, we need to provide something to dojang so that they can feel the sense of belonging. Even though it is very small, but we can do these programs. When we look at programs, there are many unreasonable programs. These programs are studied in the lab, but we need to communicate with the instructors as well. So that is why I'm talking about this. Thank you very much for the answer. Now, we'll move on to candidate number 1, An Young-kyu. Please make a presentation.
저는 오늘 국기원의 새로운 희망을 말씀드리려 합니다.
Now I'm going to talk about the new hopes for Kukkiwon. And along with the research center and newly establishing dojang, as well as providing customized programs to all age group. And also I'm going to reform the delegation of this evaluation promotion test, and this will be reduced to from Dan 1 to Dan 5 or 4. And I'm going to notify this in advance on 1 week. And also I'm going to provide support to the instructors in each region by providing short-term workshops to the instructors for each dojangs and also providing international class and also raising the expertise and capabilities of the instructors. So by aligning this current reality and the business, I'm going to come up with lessons for the instructors and also provide pensions and provide special bonuses and incentives for the instructors providing and becoming the fundamentals of the dojangs. And also, I'm going to also create a special consultative body for the taekwondo industry to raise its international status. By that, it will be able to accommodate new opinions from the overseas, and also I'm going to host a regular taekwondo annual event for the taekwondo leaders and also come up with festivals where every taekwondo members could enjoy. By coming up with digital contents and by aligning with the K contents, I'm going to expand the Kukkiwon's revenues and also I'm going to target our goals with stability. And also I'm going to establish a special graduate school for Taekwondo. And across the nation, I'm also going to come up with a competition stadium for the Taekwondo promotion test. this respective family of the Taekwondo, I'm going to create a Kukkiwon full of hope and opportunity. So instead of resigning after receiving the applaud, I'm going to receive the applaud right now from all of you.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Now, for this presentation, we would like to have a Q&A session. You can spend 50 seconds for questions and answer should be within 1 minute. Now, candidate number 2, Yoon Eung-seok, the floor is yours. So I have a question for you. 30% of the budgets, 4 billion will be spent for supporting the dojang. However, the total budget of Kukkiwon is 20 billion, and already 50% is spent for the labor cost. So in order to secure 4 billion Korean won, how will you save the cost and how will you secure the budget? Please tell us your concrete plan.
Thank you for your question. By tackling outdated traditions, we'll be able to achieve innovations. So before I clearly mentioned this when I mentioned about reforming the promotion test. As you know, by delegating this promotion task to 17 regional bodies, we'll be able to save around 2 billion won of this delegation fee. And also among the national fees and expenses, there are like around 500 million won for sending the overseas business trip to the employees. And also for the Taekwondo Hanmadang, if we can secure around like 400 million won every year, then we'll be able to create additional 4 billion budget for our Kukkiwon. By that, we'll be able to advertise Taekwondo to across the world and also provide support, come up with practical benefits to dojangs. That will be the goal of my Kukkiwon's reform.
Thank you. Candidate number 3, Nam Seung-hyun, the floor is yours.
Thank you for your presentation. You mentioned among the programs I would like to ask about the details of our programs. And you also mentioned about establishing a special graduate program for Taekwondo. And as you know, the major of Taekwondo in each college are not fully equipped with certain movements and skills. So in that sense, would we be able to create those programs in graduate school level? Yes, thank you for your question. So I mentioned about the special graduate school in college, and this would be centered on our international values. So from my expectation, I believe that more than 50% will be for the domestic, and for more than 50% will be a foreign students. And they will be a master's and PhD program. So this program is to learn about the Taekwondo's overall activities and skills, and also with that, the overseas leaders from other countries can come to Korea and they can also learn about the academics of Taekwondo, and those leaderships can later return to their own each respective country and expand the value and spirit of Taekwondo. So in that sense, that's why I mentioned about this special graduate school.
Thank you very much. So we conclude the candidate-led debate. And now we'll move on to the candidate-led debate. So we will give 9 minutes to each candidate, and the leading candidate need to ask at least one question to other candidates, and you need to guarantee at least 40 seconds for the answer. If these rules are not respected during the debate, the moderator may intervene to provide guidance or stop the discussion. Now, we'll begin the candidate-led debate with candidate number 3, Nam Seung-hyun.
I believe Taekwondo is to raise the physical capability of an individual, and socially speaking, it can accomplish peace and well spirits. And I believe that Taekwondo is different with other sports. Now, Kukkiwon is the hub for all dojangs. Therefore, Kukkiwon should carry out 3 roles. First, it should become an organization for research and development. And second, it should focus on distribution. And third, as the hub of the World Taekwondo, it should expand the Taekwondo spirit to the world. And these three values are key for the Taekwondo development. First, I would like to suggest the following visions. So overall, the dojang should be supported and also receive a clear evaluation. And what's more, I think the first step of supporting dojang is to listen to the voices of dojangs. And when it comes to administration and some feedbacks, we have to provide supports to the dojangs, and from beginning to the end, I'm going to provide supports to the dojangs. To the leaders of Taekwondo, whenever there are events, they should wear the badges and they would have to feel the pride as a Taekwondo member. And secondly, is the innovation of the promotion test system. Now, I'd like to ask questions to Mr. An. So do you know how many hand movement do we teach right now at Taekwondo? And how should we adapt to the new system in the promotion test system? Yes, thank you for your question. So you mentioned about the basics of the hand movement. So currently we are carrying out numerous hand movement skills. Well, there are blockings and also jabbing in Taekwondos. And I think it depends depending on the instructor, but I believe it's more than 20. And right now, you mentioned about the composing factors of Taekwondo, and actually we have also the pumses and kyorugi, and also relevant martial arts movements and punch and kicks. However, the basics of the education here is the basic movement and also demonstration of the instructor. Now, the demonstration should be expanded, and as we're receiving the attention from the global society, and I think there should be some changes in those movements. And I think that you had a hard time taking the promotion test evaluation, and yes, many people are forgetting about the promotion test, and when the time comes, they hurriedly prepare for that. So, in light of that, just visiting the dojang would be inefficient. So I believe that because of the price of this promotion test, the value of evaluation and promotion has declined. So I think we need reform here. We need to reform the promotion test. And also there are like 30 movements for this evaluation test, and I think this should also be corrected and adjusted as well. So from the mid-level to the expert level promotion test, this will have a positive impact. And thirdly is the leadership education. My question goes to Mr. Yoon. By giving instruction to the trainees, do you think it needs integrations? And under the regulation, how it should be classified, do you know the answer?
Can you repeat the question?
연수원에서 지도자
So in the workshop and the training, so what would be the basic movement for the instructors? And for the programs, detailed programs, how are they classified?
As for the training program, there are schools, and according to the curriculum, the training center is now providing the education. As for the kicks, it is specified in the manual. There are 6 movements we teach. And I'm not sure. It's been about 3 to 4 years since I resigned, so I'm not sure how many changes occurred during that time, but that's what I know.
Thank you very much for your answer. Yes, so candidate number 3, Nam Seung-yeol, you still have some time. Are you going to wrap up the discussion or are you going to continue? Yes, please continue. Now, I think, yes, the most important thing for the instructor is the attitude of the instructor. So I'm talking about the spirit of Taekwondo. The instructor should be well aware about this spirit. So I think the instructor should learn the integrity of the Taekwondo spirit and the movements. And next is also this the efficiency and efficacy of Taekwondo movements, and also supporting dojangs. And fourth, I would like to talk about supporting the overseas dojangs. I'm going to build a special support team for the overseas dojangs, so that the overseas instructors can feel pride in each of their dojangs and carry out their lessons. For that, I'm going to systematically provide supports to the overseas branches. And also, when it comes to the qualification of the instructors in and out of Korea, we need a uniform system, so that I'm going to provide a support and implement the system. So by that, we'll be able to provide the opportunities and experience for the overseas instructor. And fifth is the remodeling, renovating our system. So Taekwondo is the symbol of our national status. So once again, I think this should be centered around Kukkiwon and Dojangs and also build a firm foundation of Taekwondo. I believe that the training center and the historic center should become the symbol of Taekwondo, and by establishing those special centers, we'll be able to expand the spirit of Taekwondo. And Kukkiwon is also the hub of all the dojangs, and in the central dojangs, the trainees should train themselves, and whenever there are visitors and tourists, they should be able to view the Taekwondo movements, and they should also experience the Taekwondo by themselves. I'm not talking about many things here. Even though Taekwondo's history might be short, by providing insights, the visitors and tourists should learn about the Taekwondos and how the support is being provided. And also by organizing the outdoors of these hub centers, we have to create a beautiful photo spots where the tourists can take photos and also keep valuable memories. I believe that Kukkiwon should faithfully contribute and open to the Taekwondo members and dojangs. They shouldn't have any difficulties in accessing Kukkiwons. I think Kukkiwon should be like that. Thank you.
네, 남승현 후보의 수도권
That was candidate-led debate. And now we'll move on to candidate number 1, An Yong-gyu.
Thank you. First of all, I have a question to Mr. Yoon. Kukkiwon was first established as a special corporation in 2010 according to the Act, and currently it has been designated as an official public organization, so it's a bit ambiguous in terms of legal affairs. So my question is that as we transition into special corporation moving forward, how should we respond to the special status of Kukkiwon? And secondly, so firstly, how we should respond to it, and secondly, what is the reason for violating for these corporations, and if there are changes, how these changes should be laid out? And thirdly, if you believe that Kukkiwon should be exempted from the public corporation circle, then what kind of efforts do we need?
That was an excellent question. And first, I would like to differentiate the special corporation and the legal entity. And as for the special entity, do you have the willingness to change into the legal entity? So should I just answer? Can I ask a question? I have the leadership and initiative in this debate, so you need to answer first.
제가 이 특수법인에서
Well,
법정법인으로
now we are transforming from the special corporation to the statutory organization, and the opinion is 50-50. When Kukkiwon was a special corporation, many people said that when we change the nature of our organization, it will be better. But after the transformation, we realized that the condition is poorer than before. So people are changing their minds. And if we want to change our organization into statutory organization, the process is very complex. First, all the directors need to resign, and the assets of the Kukkiwon should be commissioned to the government. So all the members of the Taekwondo community need to have the public hearing to do this. So I think we are not in the position to make the decision here. So that is why I asked the question whether you have the willingness to change our organization.
하셔야 된다 그래서 짧게
So because I have to answer more than 40%, so that's why my answer is short.
법정 법인으로 바뀐다고 말씀하셨는데
So first you mentioned the special corporation should be changed to legal entity. Well, actually, special corporation is a foundational corporation.
법인과 사단법이 있는데
So there is this foundation type and a private entity type. Now, private entity is centering around the people. So when we think about the difference between foundational level and the special corporation level, I asked my question was actually asking you about the answers and the methods. You didn't actually give the clear answers. So in that sense, because you didn't answer my questions clearly, and you also didn't answer about the reasons for the designating the legal entities, so I would like to ask the same questions to candidate number 3, Mr. Nam. So yes, after we transfer to legal entity, how should we operate the Kukkiwon? And secondly, now, do you know the reason why we have been designated as this legal entity and what changes would unfold in the future? And thirdly, if you think we should be exempted from the current incumbent organization, then what kind of movements should we make? Yes, thank you. I believe that the special corporation is the combination of the special to legal entity as the Taekwondo supporting group. And I believe that the special corporation, I think we would have difficulties in receiving supports. Now, as for the special corporation, and I think the leadership will be led by the Ministry of Culture, Sports and Tourism. But there will be some differences in operations. So from the external point of view, especially from overseas, so they might misunderstand Kukkiwon as a small organization in Korea. So that would be the problem here. And as a special corporation, there could be some things that would be favorable for us, and there could be some unfavorable things as well. So if we want to move to a foundational entity, then through public hearing, if our character is more suited for foundation entity, then I think that would be okay. But still, I believe that foundation entity is more well equipped with international standards and it's more easy to build international standards. So here, I think actually Taekwondo brings revenues to Kukkiwon. So for example, in terms of promotion test and issuing the certifications, yes, there are revenues, but we should also expand our cultural projects. And also, we'll be able to receive sponsors from the companies. Actually, yes, you seems to fail to give the answers for my questions. So I was asking about the legal entity aspects. Yeah, so Leslie, yes, so thank you for the sparing time. Yes, regarding legal entity, so from the overseas point of view, I think we'll need money from those overseas. So yeah, in that sense, I think we can actually go as a foundational type entity. Thank you very much. Yes. Actually, I participated in a meeting where there were many nationally assembled members. Actually, I heard that Mr. Yoon participated in that meeting where there were many national members, and you said that there will be an autonomous operation for each respective municipalities. So that's why I'm asking this question. Actually, in fact, whether it's like foundation, legal entity, or special corporation, we shouldn't reap revenues. If we have financial revenues, then we have to use all that money. Now, I believe that all of those profits should be returned to dojangs, and they would be able to live on the resources. If not, then we'll be accused of falsely using those financial benefits. Now, in 2018, we were transferred to a special corporation. Now, and it has not been long since we've been actually designated as a special corporation. Now, that's from the 20 to 30. So That's why we are having this ambiguous legal status. In other words, this could cause problems to our freedom of operation, and in terms of accountability and fairness, there could be some confusions as we carry out our administration and operation. Now, the reason why we've been designated as this public relevant organizations, that is, if there are more than 50% of public fundings, then we will be considered a public organizations. But in reality, we have a total of around 29 billion won of budget, but if you think about the government funds, it's more than half. So it was actually against our will. But actually, around this like 29 billion won, the money that we receive from the government, we have the money for the dispatching to the overseas governments for the foreigners and also for the OECD training. Those are like 3 billions, and they all sum up to around 15 billion won. So in that sense, I think this was actually on our own will. And now, since we are reaping many revenues, then I think we should return this to the 도장s. So I'm going to wrap up my discussion. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the debate. And now we will move on to candidate number 2, Yoon Eung-seok. You can begin the candidate-led debate. Distinguished members of Taekwondo, in order to address the crisis, we need to have the executive power. I would like to talk about the practicality of the pledges and applicability, and I would like to clearly tell you the direction of Kukkiwon in the future. And in the previous discussion, I listened very well about the lecture. First, let me ask a question to candidate Nam. It was discussed previously. Candidate number 3, Nam Seung-hyun. You were the head of the demonstration team. So you emphasized the free overseas seminar and overseas exchanges, and everyone understands the importance of international activities, but the practical problem is declining number of students and the promotion test. So regarding this overseas activities, can you elaborate on it? As for the Taekwondo demonstration, I believe it includes the sparring, the pumse, and everything. But practically, there are different demonstrators, but instructors need to teach all of this. And as for the profit-making activities, we need to enhance the engagement of Taekwondo Association. We should not stay idly. We need to go out there and we need to work together. Then I believe we can lead them. I also agree with you. And if you become the president, I hope that you can address the business problem of Dojang. And now I would like to move on to candidate number 1, Mr. An Young-gyu. Previously, you said that 4 billion is from the Korean Taekwondo Association, and you will create 4 billion. But I'm wondering whether the Korean Taekwondo Association will not spend this money and Kukkiwon can secure this budget. Before listening to your answer, I need to show this. When you look at this, this is the budget and spending of Kukkiwon in 2025. In this chart, I'm wondering whether we can secure 2.5 billion Korean won. And with that 2.5 billion Korean won,
받을 수 있다는 근거는 있습니까?
Do you have any ground for your argument? So is that your question?
So yes, let me answer your questions all together.
하나만 답변 드리면 됩니까? 다른 게 또 있으십니까?
So should I give answers now? Do you have any additional questions? No. Yes, those were all the questions that I wanted to ask. Yes, so regarding the KTA and also Kukkiwon, we were developing under close cooperation, and actually, in terms of resources, it should contribute to the dojangs as for the taekwondo industry. But moving forward, currently we are stabilizing our financial resources, so for fostering the national athletes and the players of taekwondo, I think that's what we need to focus on. So currently we are facing low birth rate and economic recessions. We are at a critical juncture. So by expanding these Kukkiwon spirit, and I think that would be the fundamental goal and target of taekwondo industry. So in the past, by innovating and reforming the taekwondo industry, I provided support to the taekwondo dojangs, and if I become the new president, then I would like to faithfully stick to this goal. Now, this is not an option, but it is the callings of our times, and I think this is a desperate task that are in front of us. And when I mentioned the number 2.5 billion Korean won, yes, of course, how to use this budget will be dependent on the executive members of the KTA, but currently is going beyond the 40 seconds, right? Yes, yes, okay, so I will end there.
우리 안 후보님 답변 익히
Candidate number one, Mr. An, you speak eloquently, and I expected that this 2.5 billion Korean won
지지도 않는 25억 예산을 갖다가 여기다가
is the budget.
시청자가 들었을 때는
So for the audience, they may think that there is secured 4 billion Korean won, but when we look inside, 2.5 billion Korean won is from Korean Taekwondo Association. So the instructors may applaud to you, but I'm wondering whether Korean Taekwondo Association will give up 2.5 billion Korean won, and how are you sure and say we secure 2.5 billion Korean won? I totally cannot believe you. I cannot believe this number, and I think it is misleading information. In order to secure the budget at Kukkiwon, it is based on the education and testing. We need to utilize our own activities instead of using the budget allocated to other organizations and give that to our members. It is outrageous. So we need to focus on training and testing. We need to train the trainees well, and we need to also develop the instructors, and instructors need to establish the dojang, and they also need to participate in the testing. We need to study about this process. Now, we are trying to reform the overseas offices. For example, in the US and China, we have difficulties, and other candidates also mentioned this, so it is true. So if it is very difficult, we need to reform the system. But instead of addressing the problem, I cannot understand why we are taking the money from other organizations. So if I'm elected as a president, I will put more emphasis on the overseas testing and training. By doing so, we will create the profits instead of taking the money from other organizations.
No, No, I'm not saying that I'm going to steal the money from other organizations. No, it's okay. Well, no, I'm not asking about that. But actually, that's the fund and budget from other organizations, aren't they? No, they're in the end they will be the budget of Kukkiwon. No, that's absurd. You're mentioning about securing the budgets from other organizations. So actually, you also mentioned about this 4 billion won and also taking away the budgets of the other organizations, but that would be absurd. But I believe that our time is up, right?
All three candidates, thank you very much. That was the end of candidate-led debate segment, and we will now proceed to the final closing statement. Each candidate will have 1 minute and 30 seconds for their closing statement. First, candidate number 1, An Young-gyu, you have 1 minute and 30 seconds.
존경하는 태권도 가족 여러분,
Distinguished family of Taekwondo, currently, Kukkiwon is desperate for change and innovation. We will not be able to achieve reform with the personnel that repeat the outdated traditions. So, as the leader of the Kukkiwon, of the formal Kukkiwon, and also as the president of the college, I'm going to change Kukkiwon for the better future and new directions. As for the next president, I believe that the viewers now have come to a wise conclusion that who would be fit for the next president of Kukkiwon. To achieve our goal and change, I ask for your precious vote. Yes, please give your precious vote to me, An Young-gyu. And because there are many foreigners watching in this conference, so yes, I'm going to make my remarks in English.
candidate number 1. With my experience as a professor and National University president, I deeply understand Kukkiwon problems and its future direction. This is the golden time for reform, and I will dedicate my term to rebuilding Kukkiwon with responsibility and vision.
네,
Together,
안윤기 후보자님.
Yes,
네,
thank you,
안영규
Mr.
후보자님.
An. Yes. So you spent all the 1 minute and 30 seconds allocated to you. Now, continuing on, we'll move on to the closing statement of candidate number 2, Yoon Ung-seok.
Distinguished members of Taekwondo family, through this debate, I want to deliver just one message. Kukkiwon needs to have change and innovation, otherwise we cannot survive. Testing system should be recreated according to the field condition, and we need to survive in the sustainable environment, and we need to improve the efficiency, and cooperation with other organizations is essential, and we need to systemize the cooperation with other organizations. Today, I emphasized the word practice. From today, from the field, we need to feel the change. I would like to promise this. I will listen to you and I will reflect your voice to the policy, and I will execute the changes. I will not do this alone. We will do this together and we will create new roads. I'm candidate number 2, Yoon Ung-seok. I look forward to your support. Thank you very much. And candidate number 3, Nam Seung-hyun, please give your closing statement.
Family of Taekwondo, I am Nam Seung-hyun. Now, the reason I was able to come up to this is because of your support and also thanks to your interest. I am going to show you not only with words but with actions. I think Taekwondo industry should be led by someone like me. It's not something that we should demand to the country or to a company, but I'm going to build a system where the government and companies can give us to the supports. And our industry should be the industry where everyone should participate in. Now, if that's not your ultimate goal, then you don't have to vote for me. But if you are willing to seek for change, please spare your votes to me, Nam Seung-hyun. building central hub dojangs for the taekwondo industry and Kukkiwon. That's what I'm going to do if I become the president. Once again, taekwondo will be great again. Thank you.
네, 감사합니다. 마무리
Thank you very much. And that was the closing statements. This concludes all the segments of today's policy debate for the Kukkiwon presidential election. Dear electors, what did you think? We hope that this debate has been helpful to you in deciding the future of Kukkiwon.
국기원 누리집에서 다시 시청하실
The
수
full video
있습니다.
of today's policy debate will be available for replay on Kukkiwon official website. The Kukkiwon presidential election, which will choose the leader of Kukkiwon for the next 3 years, will take place on September 19th from 6 to 10 p.m.
국기원 선거관리위원회가 주최하는
We kindly ask all the eligible electors for the participation. This concludes the policy debate. We sincerely thank all the candidates for the discussion, and we also thank you all for watching.